Good stuff. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. I've been doing some yard work, and this is a test. Look at that, it worked. What if I try it from this window? This is also a test. Oh, I gotta freaking log in even though I'm... whatever. Okay. Sorry, I'm new here. I don't really know what I'm doing. Alright. Back on over here to the YouTubes. Make sure to say hey when you pop in here. Where's the chat? Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. That's right, guys. Got to abide by the community guidelines, which is why we are live on Twitch, showing the better view. But anyways, we're finishing up with these 110 VMaxes. And then we are potentially going to be doing some stuff for the Mosin Nagant. The old M44. 7.62 by 54R. If you know what I'm saying. Alright, cool. Just getting started here. Let me get some gloves on. And we're basically where we left off yesterday. I got to basically put these into a box so I can have my little tray back. I collected those primers that I accidentally filled into a large tube, so that was fun if you missed that. And there we go. And here we are. We'll just leave that right there. And I'm going to put these in right here. And do not worry, YouTube, we are not manufacturing ammunition. We are simply storing them in our little to-go box here. Simply, -1. 5-second rule. I win. Alrighty. Can anybody hear me? How's the audio? How's the video? Are we coming in clear? So yeah, I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. Saturday night. It's a bit late. It is approximately 11:23 Central Standard Time. Can we just get rid of daylight saving time already? I think there's 2 states that don't do it. But all the others do, so it's silly. Yeah, anyways, did some yard work today, got nice and dehydrated. And yeah, had a nice pounding headache. But we're alright. We'll live. I'm going to put this... I'm going to... there we go. Look at them. Ooh, so beautiful. So beautiful. And we have some mixed... Oh, yeah. We have some mixed ones in here, and I'm not sure if those are actually like the Nozzler of Armageddon's. The black tips. So, I'm going to keep those separated from the red tips. Just in case they're a different make and manufacture and all that stuff. Oh, wow. We got a bot there. Time to block him. You, sir. I don't really know how to do this, but I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to click that button. Banned. Suck on that, clown. Ban the bots on Twitch. Don't click on those links there. Don't do that. Or I wonder if I have it set to block links, maybe. Oh, shoot. Oh, we're tipping it. Making a dang mess here. And I got something in my eyeball. Wow, get out of there. Okay. We're okay, don't worry. I'm already blind to begin with, so losing another eye, you know, no big deal. Okay. So potential range day tomorrow, but I still have a bunch more yard work to take care of. And then I'll be out of town for the next like 3 weekends, so I got to get stuff done while I can. Because the weather's going to be changing here sooner than later. Mr. Crash, what is up? How are you doing this evening, sir? Have a good Saturday. It was quite pleasant here. We were about 85 degrees. Nice blue skies. Yeah, I was just cleaning up the yard, burning some of the sticks and stuff that fell from the rainstorms and all that good stuff. Got a little bit of sun today, and I'm a fairly fair-skinned individual, so I usually burn pretty easily. Good. Spent 2 hours at the range. Got some good data back from your ladder test. Heck yeah, that was the 69 grainers with tack, you said? Is that what you were saying? I can't quite remember. Where did I put that other one? Oh, that's right here. So yeah, I've got maybe 100 projectiles left for the blackout here. And then we're going to move on to the old, what are we saying here? 762x54R with the 180 grain, 311 diameters. Oh, shoot. Whoopsie. I apologize. Sending you on a, woo, buddy. Sending you on a ride there. Yes, sir. 69 grain BTHP over tack. 25.2. That's the jam. Well, that's pretty sweet. Get that out of here. Good deal. Well, that's sweet. What'd you say? Those were RMR projectiles from the old Rocky Mountain. Oh, I think that's what you said. Sorry, it's hard to keep track of everything. But I'm hoping to get some of these out tomorrow. Play with some of these VMax loads here. Oh. But yeah, oopsie. I'm pretty sure the black tips there are also Hornady, but they could be the Nosler Varmageddons, so I'm going to make sure to shoot those separately. There. 3-gun Hunter BTHP. So they say Hunter. Is that like Hunter in the way that an ELDX is a hunting bullet, and really it's just a thin jacketed match bullet meant to expand at extended distances at a little bit slower velocities? Or what do they mean by 3-gun? Obviously that's competition. So a matched bullet and also a hunting bullet. I saw that description now that you say it. So do they have some kind of new technology there? I wouldn't doubt it, so that'd be cool. It's always cool hearing about new stuff coming out. I don't normally store my ammo in these little boxes, but these aren't necessarily high volume blasting rounds, but yeah, should be a nice way to keep them organized. I do need to write on the notes though. Do need to write down on the notes though. I mean, they all come with these little stickers where you can take your data. I might, they all have them. I might use it. Usually I just slap on some painter's tape with a Sharpie. So that's my normal jam there. You can see the dog got a hold of this one. Focus. Yeah, the doggo got a hold of this roll of tape, so that's fun. Mr. All Things Considered, what is up, sir? Happy Saturday evening / Sunday morning, midnight, depending on your time zone. Hope everything's doing well. Hope you weren't waiting. I know I said 10 o'clock, but I might have lied there. Oh, look, free bullet. Cool. Gonna give me the side, see? Well, I have to abide by the rules. So over here on YouTube, you can see where to go to see the full view here. So that's what I recommend. Head on over to twitch.tv/dummyround. And you can see everything other than just the stuff sitting there and hearing me. I'm actually surprised it all works this smoothly. Hopefully it's smooth. Hopefully the audio is all right too, but I'm streaming Wi-Fi or wirelessly on my phone here. And then I've got the laptop over here so I can watch, and see the chat. And then behind me is my desktop that I had to put a wireless card in because I'm not going to run a Cat5 cable. No need for that these days. It's 2024. We got Wi-Fi's. But I guess the 250, not gigabit speed, but 250 megabits up and down, that's obviously sufficient. Yes, YouTube dumb like that, about to hop on over and make an account. Made it to Twitch, what's up? That is you, Mr. All Things Considered, is that right? It's hard to keep up with all the separate names and multiple accounts, and it's really dumb. Now we have to do that, but anyways, this is what we've resorted to. I guess on YouTube we'll just call it like the Dummy Round Rambling Radio Show. Because there's not a whole lot going on visually. Wow, there's 200 complete. I might have 100 left of these to do. That tower's gonna fall over here soon. Here. But yeah, after we finish with the blackout, some new box here. after we finish these last few rounds on the blackout, I'm thinking about, I've got 10 pieces of spent brass that I shot from this factory stuff, and it was 180 grain soft point. And so I've got some 180 grain soft points at the same diameter. So I'll probably find a middle of the road charge to do some of those in those 10 cases I've got there. And I've actually got, can't show you the gun YouTube, but here's the cheap $12 Amazon rail that you switch out with your front, actually I guess it's your rear sight piece, your elevation adjustment aperture guy. You pull that out, throw this in there, and then you can either use a red dot, which is probably what I'll try, or I have a long eye relief scope, so I might also give that a try as well, depending on how that eye relief looks with that. Ooh. Audio sounds rough. Ugh. Clanky on Twitch. What gloves do I like? I think I got these on Amazon. They were just the cheap, whatever was available. Nitrile. They're large. I'm 6'4", so they're pretty tight fitting. I have fairly large hands. So an extra large if you have really big hands. And sorry about the audio. It's just coming from the microphone here. So, unless I'm talking right here, is that better if I'm like 2 feet closer? Eventually I'll, I want to get a dedicated mic and a real webcam, but this old $30 upgrade from Walmart, didn't sound too bad. Okay, so we got, maybe probably not 100 projectiles left, but we're gonna do it. Wow, well that's not gonna work. Gotta stuff the Mosin crap behind it. There you go, there's my load data. The curry corn dog. Sir, I'm not sure how appetizing that sounds. I'm just not sure. Alright, I got reload primers here, which are the Remington 7.5. Try not to hit the camera. Don't hit the camera. And if you use the correct primer pickup tube, it makes it a lot easier to not have them flip upside down on you. Actually, honestly, the last corn dog I had, we did not get along, we'll just say that, and I violently expelled it from my life. Woo. I did also wipe the camera off, so I don't know if the little microphone got some lint or something in it. So this, let me get a little cloth. And microphone warning on Twitch. Ooh. Hopefully there's not like a piece of lint or something stuck in there. Cool. Red Toroboro. Audio good here on Twitch. Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the update. You gotta buy Lee's 30 cal auto bullet dropper. Like I said, it's full, but you could process it more and not worry about missed powder charges. So you see, I do take full responsibility for that squib, but if you see over here on Twitch where I have the powder measure set up, it throws powder and then I can visually see it. So I'm getting that inspection after every case. but I'm not used to doing it with the powder dye and funnel on stage 2. So I was unfamiliar with the process. You know, it's not muscle memory, or it wasn't. It's still not. And yeah, I was a distracted dummy, but I knew it existed. So that's all we can do, is at least pay enough attention to know when you get the old squib. But it does help when you fill up your case like 90% of the way and you can see the powder visually. Pardon me, that went down the wrong tube. La 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 la. Okay, much better. Alright, we got primers. I basically need to refill the powder. Pardon me, sorry. Powerade down the windpipe. Okay, yep, verifying that's the same powder. We'll just add some more there. I probably had enough, but I like to keep it fuller, more full, so that although there's a baffle, it kind of settles more evenly between charges. Oh, that's all superstition. Hard telling, and I forgot to set up. Oh, shoot. There we go. I kind of cleaned off the shell plate, and ooh, that felt disgustingly loose. We're gonna, where's my, this guy here? Dental pick. All that matters is you caught the squib before round 2. Yes, sir, that's how I felt about it. Okay, I guess I'm not going to push that hard. That felt like it went in very easily, but okay, now we got to verify the powder charge. And I'll do a few here because I did add powder, so it, you know, could be superstition, or it might settle differently than when it was lower. I usually like to do, you know, like 3 to 5 to 10 of them just to get it settled in. And let's quit knocking the table, and we'll restart our scale that's been on for like 6 years. And once the little decimal point stops flashing, what are we reloading, Mr. Sean? This right here, brother, is a 300 blackout, 110 grain VMax, or potentially a Nosler Varmageddon. Can hear you fine on Twitch, but sounds echoey. Oh, that's probably because I'm in this tiny little office and the camera's like up in the corner. So acoustics and reflections and that fun stuff. Apologies for the cheap setup. Since I'm an OCD maniac, on my bench I throw a strip of tape on your powder measure with the name of the powder being dropped. Well, I did that, but my note fell off of it, but I still had it sitting there with my bullets. So I still have my charge with my powder. I completely agree. You need to keep your thing labeled. Only keep one powder out and nearby. Know what I'm saying? It's all the H110 Thought Mag loads. Well, it is an excellent 357 Magnum powder. I do quite enjoy it for that. You found Harbor Freight gloves, and you need the XL. Don't know if but I used our standard large and have small hands. Huh. 6'4". Yeah, it's it. Yeah. Tall and lanky. 44 mag as well. That's what I hear. That is what I hear. Alright. Checking our powder since we reset our scale. let it settle there. And I'm going to try a few more here. I can't say for certain that this bench is actually level, so we're not helping our scale out too much. So can we even trust the scale? Mm-hmm. 99. So that means I'm getting 19.8 for a 5-throw average. That sounds most perfect to me. All right, cool. Well, I'll stick that there and we'll get another guy here, and it's time to get her rolling. Squeak. Did you know 296 and H110 are the same powder? Yes, sir. I was aware, but I'm sure there's some people that might not have heard that. I think there's a few others from the Winchester Hodgdon family of powders, but I probably couldn't name them to you right now. Oh, there we go. Same with Enforcer and 4100. There's a ton of powders like that. See, it's not just the ammunition world, because now Hodgdon technically owns, Winchester, IMR, Hodgdon, and then they acquired Ramshot Powders, which is Accurate Powders and Ramshot, and the Blackhorn 209 black powder replacement, which I don't know anything about, but yeah. There's definitely several overlaps. I also am fairly certain Accurate 2230 is the same as Ramshot Exterminator. So I've heard that one. Alright, visually inspect the powder. Boom. Looking good. And with a near complete monopoly, they try every excuse to keep prices high. Sir, you can stand proud on your tinfoil soapbox. I don't know if you missed yesterday, I had a couple tinfoil moments. It was pretty good. I've always been pretty tinfoil-y, but recently I've got like an entire bodysuit made out of tinfoil. I've got the entire tinfoil bodysuit. But yeah, Hodgdon owns every single domestic powder manufacturing or bottling operation aside from Alliant and Shooter's World, which is actually imported Lovex powders. So Shooter's World is still hit or miss as far as availability, because they're sharing machine time with all of the machines that are cranking out powders for like mortars and big explosive stuff going on overseas, if you know what I'm saying. That's why I watch it. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. It's fun to tinfoil every once in a while, but sometimes it's good to turn the tinfoil off. But I can't. Once things are discovered, it's hard to look at things differently. But if anything's on your mind, feel free to, let it out there, and we can tin foil. Tin foiling is fun. Although I always tried to keep my channel fairly not so political, if that makes sense, you know, right? Because I'm just a dummy that's playing around, having fun in his backyard, hitting some little steel targets for fun, you know. But, yeah, didn't want to ever get too political in my videos or start doing just that. So I could probably go on for a while. But I also think most of us are on the same page, so there's no need to preach to the choir, if you catch my drift. And I have pretty horrible speaking skills, and I pause and do the thing, and it's hard to make a complete thought sound comprehensible sometimes. So I'll just leave that space on the internet to those professionals, right? Because I started this for fun. If we just got on here and talked politics every day, that would make me angry, and that wouldn't be fun, so that's right. But if you're watching over there on YouTube, you can head on over to this address there, twitch.tv/dummyround, and you can get a view of the full operation here. So we can follow everybody's guidelines, right? Okay, got pattern, just double checking. Fair enough for letting his meditation time after all. Yeah, it's best to do not distracted and whatever, but it's all good. At the end of the day, I believe good will do better than evil, so there we go. That's all I have to say about that. Well, you know what I should have done about 20 rounds ago? Where'd it go? Case gauge. Let's make sure this thing fits. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at that. Huh. Yep. All good. Yep. Oh, look at that. This is so much easier than worrying about different diameters of cast projectiles. And I don't think we're really compressed, but it is slightly compressed. We are at 100% case fill. If you know what I'm saying. Let me perhaps show you. Let me see if we can... I gotta turn around and look at the camera here. Ooh, yeah. There's a nice healthy dose of some H110. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that? And then, well, I guess, let me see here. See if we can give a little visual. So I would say the case fill. Whoa. The powder goes right to where the shoulder neck junction is. And then we'll take our loaded round with our seating depth set, and we can see if we compare a projectile next to it. Whoa, don't bump the camera. So much glare. Anyways, you could imagine this projectile sitting perfectly on top of that powder with very little space, which is historically what you hear is where H110 likes to perform. And in my initial testing, it seemed to do better as I added more powder to the case. And the charge I'm on here is actually, I think, on my middle charge, to be honest. I think it's the middle charge. But yeah, nice case fill there. And also no pressure signs from my initial load workup using the Lake City head stamps. Although now I'm using completely mixed head stamps, so it's going to be hard to tell, or it'll be really easy to tell rather, which cases have less capacity as soon as I shoot some of them. Oh yeah. And yeah, anyways, I got these projectiles from the American Reloading Premium Pulled Projectile Package, or whatever they call it. And you're supposed to get 500 of them with an average weight of 175 grains is what they, tear the scale to. And I got a whole bunch of 110 grain VMax projectiles, which is perfect because that's exactly what I was most recently actually working on. So if I can have, ooh, that felt. That was the loose primer of the day there, folks. See if we can, oh, the old FCC, or FC223, does it deprime? Oh boy. We'll go ahead and throw this one in the trash. There we go. And we can just set this primer right back into the cup. How about them apples? I'm a fan of apples. Apples are pretty good. Okay, I got powder there. We're skipping a case, and this is a shortly trimmed one, so I got to ride it on up into the cedar so we don't crush one like we did yesterday. Yeah, we ran him up in the dye a little crooked, so I still gotta pop out that primer. And then this one went upside down because I'm a dummy and used a large rifle primer tube with a small primer little pickup guy on the end of it, so it let me pick up the small primers, and by the time they fell, some were upside down. That's just silly right there, but anyways, moving right along. Whoop. Definitely would have flown into the trigger group. Yes, sir. It kind of just plopped. Okay, yeah. See, that one felt, it felt loose going in, but if I can't press it back out just as easily, I'm going to consider it good to go. Yeah, it turns out if you just clean up your press every once in a while, it runs a little more smoothly too. I haven't had an issue with the primer arm sticking or the shell plate having any powder stuck under it. But let's knock on the wood there and not jinx ourselves. So has anybody loaded for their Mosin before? I need some tips. I have both the 308 and the 310 expander mandrels. So what should I be using there with the Mosin with my 311 projectile? Yeah, so 308 and the 310 expander, which they really make 2/1000 undersized, so they'll measure smaller because you need neck tension to hold your bullet. Anyways, I have expanders for my Lee die set to properly hold the larger diameter projectiles there. Probably have to switch that out. Never actually used those dies, so I'll probably have to clean them out with something. At least try to swab them out of any metal chips or whatever from the manufacturing process, because we all know how good Lee does sometimes on their cleanup and whatnot. There we go. So yeah, haven't ever loaded for the Mosin before. I did own one probably almost 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I went through about a Spam can, and it got annoying with the old sticky bolt syndrome. And that's basically because I was bad at cleaning it, and shooting corrosive ammo and then not cleaning is especially bad. So, you know, that Mosin got traded for a, what was it? It was one of the New England Firearms, an NEF. I think they call it a partner or something. It's just a single shot break action. And it was chambered in 17 HM2. So I think I might have put about 30 rounds through it over the last, the last 10 years whenever I traded that off. And then I traded that silly little NEF break action 17 HM2 for the Mosin I currently have. So that's pretty funny. In my eyes. Funny to me. You know, the world goes in circles and all that fun stuff. Dumb question, have you used Lee, RCBS, or Redding dies in the Dillon? Interested in a Dillon, but don't want to have to get all new dies as well. Yeah, I don't own any Dillon dies. Everything I've ever used on my Dillon are like mostly Lee, mostly RCBS, and I'll probably use, whenever I decide to do a bunch of 308 and finally get that load worked up, then I'll be running a Redding, and I'll be weighing the charges off the Charge Master, and then using the charge die instead of the powder measure. Wow. So we can do some precision loads while still being, mostly progressive. But no, I've never had to use Dillon dies on a Dillon just because it says Dillon. Although, Dillon dies are supposedly very well regarded. And another aside to that is that they've been way behind on their carbide production. So, or rather their supplier of carbide for their dies, which are, more sought after for progressive loading for obvious reasons. They're harder and last longer and lubrication and all that fun stuff. So they've been backed up on the production of all their carbide dies. So you could probably get a standard set. Oh shoot. You could definitely get a standard set of Dillon dies, but their carbide stuff, I'm pretty sure they are pretty backed up on a lot of that. Whoop. Almost lost a bullet. Great to know, thanks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. Well, there we go. Yeah. So I might have a range day tomorrow, but I think my neighbor said he's going to be having family over and doing a cookout for his son's birthday. So I don't want to be that neighbor screwing up their family function. So I don't know if he said it was this coming Sunday or sometime in the future. That would have been a good detail to gather, but may or may not have a range day. So you know. I was planning on range day with the 300 blackout. I built a new, if you missed the conversation yesterday, I swapped out a barrel. I had a 7.5 inch 5.56 barrel. It was like super duper crazy overgassed. So I threw in a 7.5 inch 300 blackout barrel. Found it for like $30. I was like, heck yeah, why not? Let's build a little shorty guy. So, being the 300 blackout fanboy that I am, well, now I have 4 varieties of 300 blackout. It's a lot of fun. I don't even have a suppressor. I don't even have a can, and it's my favorite cartridge. Speaking of calling it a cartridge, so the cartridge is technically the loaded round, right? The cartridge is the finished product at the end. So people often say, what caliber are you shooting? Well, a caliber is only referring to the diameter of the projectile. What caliber bullet are you using? So, oh yeah, I'm loading the 308 caliber. That is technically a thing, like these are 308 projectiles, but saying you're loading the 308 Winchester caliber is kind of like saying magazine clip or whatever. So how do you say it? Because if you say, I'm going to reload the 308 cartridge, that's only referring to having a finished round. So English is a hard language, and I'm a dummy, so let me know how you say it. How do you say it? Asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend, right? But anyways, if you're over there on the YouTube vertical stream, I guess that's a thing I wasn't aware of until yesterday. Head on over to Twitch there and you can see the full operation. Unless you just like the conversation on the YouTube here. No problem either way, but Twitch you can see the chat from both platforms, which blows my mind. Your rule of thumb is if it's a common cartridge, refer to the caliber. If uncommon, you go by the technical dimension. Well, this is technically, look at that little oxidization mark. Whatever, it'll look the same when it hits the steel target. What does it say? This is technically 7.62 by 35 millimeters. Because if we, well, I got my comparators set up in the digital, but if these were millimeters here, which it's not, this case would measure 35 millimeters. Kind of like 7.62 by 51. 308 case is 51 millimeters tall, which is the diameter by the length of the case. That's how that's designated. All right. I touched other stuff and moved away from the press, but visually inspect the powder. Good work. We've got the primer. Good job, dummy. Probably wouldn't have had the powder to finish. Now that we're, oh yeah. So that was probably, it was a full tube. Then I had to get a second tube, so it was at least 100 and I think like 108 or 110 fit in the tube. And we're about halfway done, according to the little guy here, the primer guide weight thing to keep them feeding more reliably. About halfway, so maybe another 20 cases, but then I'll have some more primers left over. And I'll have to do some more 300 blackout with some other stuff, I reckon. Or some 223. Ooh, that one felt gross. Let's do the test. Oh. Nope, it's tight enough to stay in there. Tight enough to stay in there. People say you can't get a feeling when you prime on the press. That's baloney. You just should have to not totally gorilla grip it and just go to town. There's plenty of feel here. Did a borderline dumb thing today. I had to know your 300 blackout would be suppressed if you had to. God forbid, shoot in your house. So the last shot of your day, no one was on the range and you let one rip. It was loud, even suppressed, but no ringing, so hearing safe. But now you know. Yeah, apparently if, hearing safe, you can do several magazines before it's not any longer hearing safe. But I've got a couple buddies with cans, and they help a ton. The suppressed 300 blackout, that's awesome right there. I haven't done a lot of research into it, but there's a lot of people that shoot a lot of suppressed 300 blackout, and they talk about the cleaner powders, the less gassy powders that still function, the quietest powders, which ones have the least pop, and all that stuff. And these aren't things I've even considered. And especially when there's shortages of things, I do a loose quotation with the word shortage based on our conversation earlier about one company owning 95% of the powder market globally. So anyways, when everything's available, people have 50 different powders to pick on to load suppressed 300 blackout. Words are hard there. So yeah, lots of research, not by me, has been done into what are the quietest powders, the cleanest powders that don't blow back gas into your face. All that fun stuff. Oopsie. Have you experimented with any of that? How, quiet different powders can be? Or squeaky. Or have you tried for different cleanliness or gas levels with different powders? Otter Creek's Labs, polonium, had to take a second and look at that word, 30. The polonium 30 is $7.50 after tax stamp. The Recce Vibe as well, under $1K, affordable, totally worth getting. Wouldn't worry about powder, just shoot it and clean it. Just shoot it more to clean it. Isn't that how you clean out your can? You just blast out some supersonic stuff and blow all the carbon through it. And sorry, I meant clean about blowback through the bolt into your face. Not getting a mouthful of that. but I know they make bolt carrier groups and charging handles that also divert a lot of gases and stuff. So I guess if you employ all that stuff and you don't mind some of the gases just blasting out down into your trigger group, or however that works, on top of the bolt carrier group, I guess. So that might get dirtier, but the gas isn't going to be coming out into your face. That is one upgrade I have not made on an AR, is an expensive charging handle. I don't know why, I just cannot bring myself to drop, $85 or $100 on a charging handle. Although, I have shot much nicer, more expensive guns than I own, and I do quite enjoy the feel and fit and the smoothness of like Irradians or, anything like that. Anybody have experience with Gucci charging handles? I've been upgrading some of my triggers here and there. I really like the Timney, what is it? The Impact AR? Yeah, the Timney Impactar. I have one of those, and then I've got a Trigger Tech Duty Grade or Duty Series or something. Those are both very nice. Aside from one being straight trigger face and one being curved, I can't really tell a difference. I think they're both about 3 to 5 pounds is what they're spec'd at from the factory. So they both feel nice. And I'm not a trigger snob just yet, so those feel pretty good to me. I think I got them both for about $120 maybe on sale at different times. And I know there's some triggers that are like $400, $200, $300, $400. That one felt loose. Any charging handle will let gas through. If you want to avoid it, get a piston set up. Yeah, I've heard that too. That makes sense. But I guess some of them have like a different channel cut down the middle or something. And it helps divert the gases. Well, like you said, you're always going to get some sort of gases. So it's probably more of like a marketing checkbox than a real feature. They say, look, we machined this little vent here. So now it's got extra abilities that your mil-spec charging handle does not have. Wow. But again, I don't know. I don't shoot suppressed, so I'm sure that might matter to some people. That being said, I do like the ambi, more easily accessible handles and stuff they make. Those are definitely a plus. I do enjoy an upgraded trigger guard, enhanced trigger guard, just to fill up that gap right where it sits on your knuckle. If you're holding the pistol grip and it just digs in right there, unless you have an enhanced one that fills in that gap. Or you bought a Gucci lower with a one, machined into it. That sounds very nice. Maybe someday. So trigger guards are, yep. Didn't get a primer to come out that time. Ooh. So yeah, I've upgraded a few triggers. Trigger guards are fun. Grips, all I've mostly used are like the Magpul MOEs or whatever. Those are nice and slick and little storage compartment or whatever. Got some walnut up in there. I would like, definitely would like to try an enhanced bolt catch release and mag release, because running around doing drills and stuff, trying to slap those while you're breathing heavily because you otherwise don't work out anymore. Should probably do that more often. Yeah, the enhanced buttons would feel nice and also provide perhaps enhanced tactical abilities. Enhanced tactical abilities. Know what I'm saying? Okay, I almost need to count how many projectiles I have left so I don't load extra brass. So it's whatever the number is minus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets. So load 4 more pieces of brass. And it's a PSD. Should fit though, because we've got 308 projectiles. No big deal. Not even worried about it. That was 1, 2. Gotta get that. There we go. Primer lined up. 3. So yeah, we're about to move on to the old 7.62x54R. I'm only going to size those 10 pieces that I've fired, and then put in those factory spear projectiles. So I need to start looking at some data here in a second. Yeah, there we go. Last piece of brass. Last piece of brass. Make sure to say hey if you're stopping in on the YouTubes, and if you're on the YouTubes, go ahead on over to Twitch there, where you can see the rest of the operation that the Freedom Haters don't want to show people. Delicious hydration. Alright. That was our last piece of brass, and I've got 1 projectile left. Bingo. But as you can see, we still have primers in the tube, so we'll have to finish those some other time. Unless you guys want to see more 300 blackout, would you guys rather see that? That die loose? Okay. That die is good, it just feels different when there's only 1 shell on the shell plate rather than 4. And last round check. Oh, it plunks. Cool. So those are my black tips. I'm going to shoot into a different group because they could potentially be, oopsie, the Nosler brand. I'm not certain. I believe they're Hornadies, but if they're a Nosler Varmageddon, then they'll probably shoot differently. Oopsie. There we go. Yeah, they look very similar, but they could be different brands. They could also be the same. Oh man, don't that purty? Yeah, different brasses. But, yep, I like it. It's your bench, dude, whatever you feel like loading. So the truth is, I have about 78,000 projects that I need to do. So whatever you guys would like to see or talk about or discuss or whatever is kind of what I'm here for, is to conversate about options. Oopsie, sorry about the phone there. Yeah, conversate about things, and I'm going to ask questions like an idiot, and then you guys can ask questions, and then hopefully the helpful people in the chat have answers that I don't, which happens quite often. So thanks to you guys for educating me more often than not. I don't know if I want to fill up another box, so I'll have to put any remainders in with the black tips and just make sure to shoot them separately. But I still have an ammo can down there full of 30 cal projectiles that are specifically for 300 blackouts, so there's no shortage of those. Ooh, looky there. Isn't that visually satisfying? Wow. That's a lot of deer. That's a lot of deer right there. Or, you know, if someone tries to eat my neighbor's cat or my dog, they could be saying hello to one of these. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Fair enough. What has been your pet load for 22556? So, to be honest, at one time I had several different powders. I had probably 7 to 10 different, you know, SKUs of powder, but I had 2 or 3 pounds of each one. So collectively, I had a lot of powder that I could use. And I didn't want to make up a load for just 55 grain full metal jacket blasting stuff. So I pretty much went and looked at the maximum charge for all those powders. I went down by like a grain or so. I shot 5 of them through my 20-inch barrel and my 16-inch. And they all cycled. And they shot the target offhand at 50 yards when I was just standing there. And that was good enough for me. So those are my pet loads for 223. Although I'm working on, well, let me see if I can grab it here without screwing up this camera and stuff. Oh, yeah. What are these? So I've got this gross Winchester brass that was once purple, but it's like gray or black now. These are the 75 grain black tips. Focus camera. Anyways, I think those look pretty sweet. I just got them color coded. These are CCI 41s, I think, so I can have a cool guy load. Right now I've just got 10 rounds of different, 4 different powders, 10 rounds moving up incrementally in the charge weight so I can capture velocity. And then if I can chart that and find a little node in the velocity, maybe that'll point me towards where to go with an actual load. And for this we are trying out Vitabori N135, Ramshot Tack, Winchester, what is it, Stayball Match? Yeah, Stayball Match. And then Shooter's World Tactical Rifle, which don't get that confused with Ramshot Tack because they're way different in burn rate. So Keep that noted. You remember them purple cases? They actually look pretty sweet since I like wet tumbled them. And then they're kind of that grayish black looking thing. So that's pretty cool. Alright, let's clean up here, get rid of some of this crap. Still have to deprime these two. So I'll just put them back in here, and eventually when I get back to loading some, they'll fall back out and I'll be like, oh, I gotta still do those. And I think it was you that were saying you don't mind if you have to load them hot and you don't get those primer pockets back because it's something you're only going to be using once. That's kind of where my head's at with those black purple cases. Mr. Tactical Rabbit 308, how are you this evening / morning, sir? Hope you're doing well. We just finished up with the 300 blackout for now. Here's some of them. And it looks like we got at least 250 boxed up plus the mixed colored box there. So that's a lot of deers, brother. Okay. Alright, probably get all this crap out of the way since I'm done blacking out for now. And then we'll move on to the Mosin Nagant. Oh. Sorry if I sound like I'm broken or something. Just doing yard work, so my back hurts today, okay? Yes, sir, correct when it comes to hunting defense. Don't care if those cases last. Only that they work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly where my head is at with that load. So, if those somewhat loose cases that only got shot once from the factory are somewhat blown out, but I can definitely feel that they are holding the primer in stably, then if I only get one more shot out of that piece of brass, then that's cool with me. Okay, I should have just put that back in the bottle of powder, which I need to put up since I'm going to switch to the Mosin. Yeah, here we go. We got some 180 grain spear hot cores. These are trash. Cool, those are empty. Let's throw that crap out. Throw that crap out of here. There's my wicked scope mount. Okay, I really need to empty that powder. I guess we can do that real quick. Drop it. There we go. So, did anybody, obviously Mr. Crash said you went shooting. Anybody else go shooting this weekend? There we go. Or are you planning on it tomorrow? Any testing, competition, getting ready for hunting season, etc.? Alrighty. And this is fun if you've never emptied powder on a Dillon. The easiest way I've found is you pull out your tool head and you've got this whole monstrosity with all your dies attached. Just hold that carefully, and I like to have this funnel that I cut off this it had like a 6-inch neck on it there. I cut that down so it fits into my powder bottles, and then we can more easily return them to the receptacles from which they came. And then there's always going to be some down there under the baffle. So you'll have to manually cycle the powder measure a few times Sorry if that noise is sucky. Yeah, I'd call that good. If you have some compressed air, you know, that'll never hurt anything. But yeah, simple as that. Takes about 30 seconds to empty your powder. And I guess we can loosen this up since I'm not using it. But this little arm here lines up perfectly where that pin goes, so sometimes that is troublesome there. Oop. Down here. Okay. And we'll return this little arm here just so I don't have loose pieces hanging around. Put our tools back. Once again, I need some compressed air. There's not a lot of powder spillage, maybe like 10 whole grains worth of weight. Maybe 10 grains worth of weight. Okay, YouTube, we're moving here for a second. Yeah, we're gonna play with this here in a second. Ooh. Okay. Alright, we gotta look at some load data here, folks, so I can learn how to reload this. We'll consult our Hornady manual, which I don't think they have a very wide selection. I could be wrong. There we are. We got 180 grain bullets, and they actually have quite a few powders here. H4895, do not have that. IMR 4064, I do have that. Reloader 15, I do not have that. Accurate 2495, no. H380, I think I do out in the garage, but it's probably 40 years old, so it could be questionable at best. IMR 4350, I do not have that. Winchester 760, same case as the H380, it's probably in one of those vintage cardboard things. And then Midori N160, I do have some of that. And it looks like they start at 45 grains and go all the way up to 54 grains. So if I go right in the middle at like 50, that would be super easy. And it'd be a nice mild load, probably right in the neighborhood of 2350 to 2400, it looks like. However, I have a shorter barrel than the, let's see what they measured their velocity with. There we go. 26.5 inch. Yeah, definitely not. I've got the M44, which is the shorter carbine, and I think it was cut down to like 16.5 or 17 inches, somewhere right in there. So, I'm not going to get near the velocity here in the book, but I think 50 grains of N160 might be a good call. I've never loaded with this powder. I actually got it for the 270 Winchester, which I also have about, I have a lot of stuff to do with the 270. Lots of 270 to do. So, let me check out a few other manuals. So far we got N160. What are you thinking, folks? The most prestigious powder on the market with the cheapest hunting bullets. Sounds like a great combo, right? I don't know. Okay, I keep moving crap around. I need to just, there's one book. Let's see if we can avoid unplugging the operation here. I see a Lee manual. Uh-oh. Oh, don't pull the camera. Okay, I got a Lee book in here. I have all the books in here, but this one's right on top, and they usually have a pretty good selection. Okay, don't, well, easy. And I also want this powder scoop kit. Actually, one is going to be in my die set that I need to get to. Aha! Wait, my die set even has lead data in it. I'm so glad everything is redundant. Oh, oh shoot. Is it this one? Yay. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. Sorry. Crack kills. If you saw my butt hanging out, I'm sorry. Okay, look, I have lead data inside the lead book that comes inside my dies. Alright, check it out, YouTube. Let's have a look here up close. 160 grain jacketed bullet. Oop. Oh, there it is. What do I have? I've got 4064. We have some Varget 8208. And Lee does not list N160. Let's have a look here on Twitch now. What do y'all think? You can't see any of that, can you? I didn't even actually read it. I just looked at the powders. 180 grain. Let's check out 4064. Starting charge 42.5. Maximum charge 45.9. Overall length 3.17. And at the top speed of 2617. And I lied, the overall length is 2975. What is the max OAL here? 3037. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see if the Lee manual says anything else. Excuse me. Yeah, here's the larger expander. That is the 310, or made for 310 projectiles. I'll probably have to switch that one into the sizing die, seeing as I'm using 311 bullets. So let's whip this out here and see what Lee says in the manual. Is there more than in the die set? Come on, where are you at? 308. 308 Winchester, 300 RSOM. Some of those cases gotta be crazy. 3040 Krag. Hornady put it before this, but now it's coming after, it looks like. Holy crap, there's 38 pages of 30.6 data. I should probably get one of those someday. 30.6 just seems like one of those cartridges that you should have. Anyway, oh shoot, I found it and then I went to scratch my neck. Okay, here we are. From the Lee Manual. I think that's the same data we just saw. No, H4831. I want to use that, I think. Should we go with H4831 or the Vitivori N160? I've already got the N160 sitting out. And I've never used it. And I don't think my Mosin is Finnish, but this powder sure is. And the Finnish make Mosins, so it seems like that's what we should be doing. Okay, it's a done deal. N160. Oop, sorry camera. And probably going right in the middle there with 50 grains. Alright, let me clean this crap off. We're going to have to move this over. Got to relocate you, Twitch. Pardon me. Pardon me, excuse me. Excuse me, pardon me. Yep, hang on tight, we're going on a ride. Over here to the single stage. Our CBS Rock Chucker Supreme. Is it Supreme? I think it's really old. No, it's the RC2. It is not a Supreme model. However, it has done me mighty fine so far. I need a little brush to clean that crap off. Oh God. And if anybody has a rock chucker, you know how much fun it is to catch all of the jumping primers that come out of the catcher. You resize them or deprime, they just shoot down the little ram and go flying at you. Oh, gotta throw this crap out here. I'm only doing 10 cases, so maybe this could, I think I'm going to try to take this segment here and turn it into a YouTube video, so I'll be able to chop it out of the Twitch stream. Clean up the press here. It's not going to be super pretty, but we'll be Mosin loading. It looks crooked. Okay. Got too much crap out. We'll move him. And him and him and him. Those don't stack together. These stack together. I'm going to use that for my powder here. Sorry, I'm got to clean up real quick. Sure, hold that. By clean up, I just mean get some crap out of my way. I guess I'll keep the primer tray out. I'm only going to need 10. Okay. I can move him out the way. I kind of hate when, I'm sure it's really handy. Like I said, I need to actually label these because I plan on holding on to these loads. But I was going to say, I hate when all the MTM cases and now these Dillon ones come with the cards because I always just have 50 loose, unused cards. But I'm going to actually use them, so I'm going to hold on to those for once. For once, I'll hold on to them. Alright, gotta straighten some crap out here. I don't know what comparator that is. What do we have? We have a 30 cal. So I reckon I could actually measure my shoulder setback on this rimmed cartridge. Does that matter at all? I guess it would keep your cases from stretching as much if I don't bump them down so far. Does that make sense? Because I could be wrong, but this is a rimmed case here. A rimmed case, head spacing off of the rim. Oh yeah, look at all that carbony goodness that's now on my Hornady book. Delicious. These need a little TLC. I might need to hit them with some, just a paper towel or something to get some of that crap off. Okay, there's my cases. I guess I could use this here loading block. Hold them for me. Oh man, those rims don't fit. Oh, even the gigantic midway tray doesn't fit. Does the RCBS? Dang it, dude. That's actually really awkward now. Shoot. I'll have to size everything. I'll just use these bins for now, I guess, but I'll just have to add powder and then seat before I do anything else. Okay. No problem. Here's what the finish round should be very similar to, but just a slightly different projectile. Up here on Twitch land. Yeah, they got a nice crimp around the neck there, a little excessive even. Alright, we'll learn these 10. Let me grab a paper towel and wipe them down. Sorry if you're over on the YouTubes, you gotta go here on Twitch to see what we're doing. Don't want to totally screw up my scale. There we go. Where'd it go? Got it all wrapped up. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Just like new. If you remember when we were loading the squib, this is the one that I caught without a primer. I was like, oh shoot, if that one doesn't have a primer, the one before it doesn't have powder. So let's set this somewhere out of the way. Also got this nice bucket of Lake City Match 308 I need to process, so that'll take a while. I'm sure they all need trimmed, so on and so forth. Yeah, sometimes your rounds don't fully need, tumbled and polished and wet tumbled with pins and Dawn and all the stuff. Sometimes a paper towel is sufficient just to get a reload going. Now, don't worry, YouTube, if I decide to upload this segment as a standalone video. This is not the whole process. I'm not manufacturing anything. You can suck it, YouTube overlords. And what you think you might be seeing, you're just confused about because you don't understand. Don't judge me. We're playing with the Mosin food today. Alright? Alright. Perfect. Yeah, those cases were not clean, but obviously not super dirty. That just looks all washed out because of the lighting for some reason, but whatever. Alright, now I need some lubricant. Lubrication. Alright, gotta move this so I can open up my drawer. Get some of them lubrications. Also, I've been amassing these Hornady overall length, or modified cases to use with the overall length gauge. They don't make one for the Mosin. Is this the one that was open? No, that one's brand new. Where's the half-used open one? Sorry, I got crap everywhere. But yeah, they don't make one for the Mosin because they don't know your bullet diameter, because they range from 308 to 312. Something crazy like that. whatever. I'm going to use this can of Redding Imperial sizing dye wax. Is it down there? Oh, nope. Okay. Speaking of sizing dye, I have to change the expanders in there like we said. Sorry, YouTube, you can't see. You can't see, YouTube. Here. I'm going to have to eventually get to that, but look, we have a scoop, so I should be able to trickle my 10 charges without too much trouble. And so there's the larger diameter, and it comes with the 308, so you have to switch those out. And like I said, I'm going to have to clean this dye out too. Yep. So time to do everyone's favorite. What was that? Fall in the primer? Primers? Of course. Time to do everyone's favorite lead dye maintenance. It's generally easier when it's in the press. And let's move him over. There we go. If you're unfamiliar with the lead dyes, it just has this collet up top, and that grips down on your decapping pin. Nope, this way. Ha! Other way, dummy. Freaking moron. And there we go. Pull him out. That's a 308 diameter. I should probably mark that somehow. Here we go. We'll get the painter's tape that the dog chewed on. Shoot. What a mess. What a mess. Oh no. Tape is hard to do with gloves on. And then when you get it all torn up in different layers, it's especially hard. It's pretty hard, but not too pretty hard. Alright, sorry. And we're back. Shoot. Let me just get this corner up and we'll be good. Okay. Well, that's... This is not going as I planned it to do. Come on. I just wanted a piece of tape so that I could wrap it around this decapping pin and write 308 on it, but just having some sloppy blue tape stuck on will have to do. Sorry, it's got little holes in there because the doggy chewed on it. So, you know, it's pulling from 10 different layers and falling apart. And we'll use our Sharpie that disappeared to over here. 308. Okay. And I'll put that back in the bag. So the bag's mislabeled, but the pin is correctly labeled. I gotta put him back in, except I said I was gonna paper towel him down real quick. What kind of Mosin are you gonna shoot this out of? 91, 9130, Tola, Ishmash, finish. It's actually sitting right over here on the wall. I'll grab it here in a second. And we can look at it on Twitch. Because on Twitch you can handle a firearm. On YouTube live streaming you cannot. Cool, there's not actually a whole bunch of gunk in here. Very nice. Sometimes Lee dies are a little suspect in quality, but just give them a good rub down and check everything out. Now I have to clamp back down on this, which always seems to take a lot more effort than it should. Alright. And you want a little bit sticking out so you actually push all the way through the depth of the case head and punch out the primer. Oh god. Come on now. But yeah, what is the Mosin? It is an M44 carbine. I forget which country it came from. It's a whole bunch of mixed parts with different serial numbers, and it was obviously just slapped together at one point so that they could say that there was another Mosin on the books. There we go. So although I cranked down on that pretty good, it's probably not tight enough, but we'll figure it out here soon. And don't worry, YouTube, I'm not going to be able to get the shell holder out, so we won't be able to load the dang thing. Come here. I'm going to use my strong hand and get it. Sorry. How's that back of my head look? It's a great view, isn't it? Sorry. Alright. We're going to do the classic screw it down until it touches. And then come back out a bit and get some cam action going on. And then I'm going to actually crank down on this guy. Okay. That's good enough, but I don't need it that tight to size. So I'm just going to actually go with barely touching. Yeah, that's touching the shell holder. Just barely touching, and of course it doesn't come with the freaking die lock ring wrench. I really dislike the newer style Lee lock rings. I really prefer the older style square ones. Yeah, I said I'd get that out here. Let's have a look. Don't look, YouTube. Aha! Just an oldie, old little shorty. Got sporterized and bubbified, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to take the stock off and just spray paint it some kind of stupid camo. And then, like I said, I've got the mount down there to put a red dot here where the red side goes. But first I'm going to try a, what do you call that? Long eye relief scope. I've got one on the silly ass 454 Casol handgun. So that'll be fun with iron sights, and this will be more fun, I think, with some glass, because I'm blind. But yeah, it works real good like. It's got the classic, let me see here, 73-inch trigger pull. Watch how sloppy this thing is. Still not going. Yeah, it's like a ½ inch of take up. Pretty crazy. Woo! Yeah. Anyways, that's the old Mosin. I don't really want to put a bunch of money into it, but I was thinking about doing the Archangel stock. And then with the glass and whatnot, it could be a pretty formidable, fun little toy. You know what I'm saying? Right on, makes for a good little hunter. Yeah, that's the gentleman I got it from. He said he just wanted a nice little kind of lightweight hunting rifle he could bring around, that he wasn't super worried about getting wet or if it had to get ruined or whatever. That was the one that could do that. Yeah, I'm going to totally break it down and strip it from any grease that might be left. And I guess you have to heat up the stock to get the oil to seep out of the pores. So I might have to do that if I want to spray paint it at some point. Because eventually I can always get a secondhand stock as well. Because that one's already been sanded down and it's not original at all. But yeah, like I said, I just want to kind of spray paint it and do my own bubbifying to it. And mostly, it would just be fun to go larping around the backyard and, you know, stripper clips and woo, little light cast loads running around offhand. That's some fun stuff, brother, tell you what. Sorry, pardon me, had to get a little hydration going on. Alright, so that's about as minimal cam over as you could call cam over. So, throw this one out, get a new one to wipe lubricants on. That'd be funny if I turned off the computer, grabbing the paper towel from it. Okay. Imperial wax. Beautiful. I should have put some on the little expanding mandrel inside the die before I cranked it down. But I'm going to go ahead and be very liberal here on the inside of the neck on the first few. Or just each one, get a very tiny amount in there. Because, you know, new die, brass has been fired once. Let's not stick this. And, oh yeah, that's tight. She needs some more lubes on there. The base of the case is saying, no, I don't want to. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, need some more lube somewhere else apparently. Let me try a different case. Wow, you can see the stretch marks every time I move down on it. You see these different lines along the body? This brass is moving a lot. So it sized the neck. Let me see if it chambers. And I can back the die out and kind of start over. That's pretty tight. But it chambers. My neck was resized. Huh. Let me back that die out a bit, because that seemed pretty excessive. And I still didn't hit the primer, so... Huh. Okay, don't fall over there. Alright, back to the crappy lock ring. And it was touching. I'm going to come out like a quarter turn maybe. That might have been a sixth or an eighth of a turn maybe. I'll try a new piece of brass and make sure he is properly slicked up. Because I'm not trying to stick a case here, and that would be embarrassing. Make sure you get the inside of the case mouth, as well as along the body, but don't hit the shoulder, or you could potentially induce some denting. Alright, that one felt pretty good. The die is definitely not down as far. Yeah, look at that. Cool, that might be enough. Like I said, I think it headspace is off of the rim. Yeah, look at that. I think it's head spacing off the rim, so if I can just basically get a neck size until the shoulder blows out into the end of the chamber, I'm going to be safe. So I like that. I like that a lot. However, I didn't think about if I have to trim these. I'll have to whip out the old case prep center. But yeah, that's locked down. Let me size everything now. Okay, that's the one we got. I gotta hit this first one again to get that primer out. There we go. Missed the $80 Mosin days. You bought an 1891 American New England Westinghouse made Mosin. It was exported to the Russians, captured and fixed by the Finns, and eventually made it to you. All the proof marks intact. Great history. That's freaking awesome. And it was only 120 bucks. That's awesome, dude. Oh yeah, we can look at the markings on that one here in a bit. We'll have to dig in and see what I've got. How do you, I guess you can trace, they put a date on there and then the country and their different armorers' markings, I guess. That's how you can tell where it went. Oh yeah. I should probably look at the maximum trim length. However, these just chambered just fine, so I don't think I need to trim. I don't believe I need to trim these. I'll say that, and then there'll be one of them that's way out of spec or something. But yeah, there we go. Weird. I see the, like on the computer, I see that you said that message on Twitch, but it's not showing up on the, that one didn't show up in the chat on the video. Intriguing. Unless I need to scroll down on that or something. Pretty much mainly by the Arsenal stamps. The dates after original manufacturer don't make it on. But yeah, there's definitely some nerd out there that could figure it out. I am most certainly not that nerd though. Ah, do you see the primer? I just went flying. Oh yeah. I gotta pick them up so the old puppy don't get them. These are actually sizing very nicely. And aside from, so I've got these 20 S&B pieces. Where'd the box ammo go? Anyways, I've got 20 pieces of S&B brass. Oh, back here. I still have 10 rounds that are factory, and I've got 10 pieces here. But I've got 100 pieces of PPU, and those are only going to be cast loads. So I'm going to see, you know, over time, how many firings those get, and like what kind of minimal sizing work I can do. If I can just neck size them for a while, and then maybe just do the minimum bump back, as long as they still chamber. Since we're head spacing off of the rim, you don't really have to worry about that. So that's pretty cool to me, right? Ooh. Yeah, very nice. And one good thing about the Imperial Lube is inside your case, I don't think it's actually capable of contaminating the your powder or anything like that. And if anything, it might even help your bullet seating with just a little bit less friction. Maybe I made that up, but it makes sense in my mind. Oh yeah. And let me actually measure the ID here. So I've got, oh God, what a mess. What a mess. 0. The ID of our neck should be like 308. Which means I can fit a 310 plus bullet in there without too much worry. And I'll have roughly 2 to 3 thousandths of neck tension. So if it sizes the ID down to 308 and I've got a 311, then I have 3 thousandths worth of neck tension. And so this neck looks straight. These other two have little dings on them. So let's see what it blew out to. So it actually, the interior inside diameter here of the fired case is right at 311, maybe 311 and a half. So that tells me the chamber is at least made for 310 or 311 projectiles. So without having slugged my barrel, I think it was a good move to go for the larger diameter. Does that make sense? Because if I went for a 308 projectile, it would be underbore by a few thousandths and just kind of flop around down the barrel, which would potentially lead to horrible accuracy. Oh yeah. And on a sort of similar note to the neck tension, if I had kept the 308 expander in there, which actually sizes to 306, that would be a lot of neck tension, and it would probably crush my cases as I went to seat those projectiles. So generally, from what I hear from the experts, 2 to 3 to 4 thousandths of neck tension isn't too bad. But once you get to 5 plus thousandths, that's a lot of stretching that case mouth has to do when you're seating that bullet. And if you have brittle or hardened brass, or depending on the brand, if it's not annealed, that neck might be hard enough to just squish into the shoulder rather than expand out to allow for that wider diameter projectile. And we have a lube dent, as I was describing why you shouldn't put it on the shoulder, dang it. Oh, nuts. Ooh, can you see? Little wavy bit there in the shoulder. If it's focusing, hard to tell. But yeah, don't put lube on your shoulders, folks. But that'll fire format. Anyways, long story short, you want proper neck tension for your diameter of projectile, and you want proper fitting projectiles in your chamber as well as the bore to have proper accuracy and things. So I'm going to wipe off the outside of the neck and the shoulder. No bumps. Wow. Now it just got covered in primer residue gunk carbon dust, so I'm going to wipe that off and re-lube again. Because I don't want that crusty, grimy stuff going up into the body of my die and then scratching my brass or the die. Alright, so that might have been a little bit residual, but much less of a dent on that one. Bah, I'll shoot it. That's what I'm talking about. Man, you gotta see some of the pretty questionable 223 brass I've loaded up. Like, I have a Ziploc bag specifically for the ones that even I question, but for the most part, a dented shoulder or part of the case, or like it got stepped on and some gravel almost went through it. As long as it runs in the sizing die and there's not a big gouge, it'll fire form out right. It'll fire form out right. Alright, look out. Oh, gotta squeeze that back in there. And we're done sizing. How easy was that? Oopsie. Loosen is that direction. Magical thing is, I can take this stream and then cut out this crap on YouTube where I'm adjusting the dies. They don't know any better. And even if I have to trim it right now, I can cut that part out of the video too, or make it a separate video. And as long as it's in different parts and you don't have the full process, then there's absolutely no way I'm giving instruction on how to manufacture ammunition. Okay, we're done sizing. Ooh, it actually comes with the factory crimp die. That makes me happy. So there's our cedar, but I actually need to prime first. So I need to find my Lee Ram prime. Ooh, first try, look at that. Remember the sketchy 223 test? That's what actually gave you confidence to not be so damn picky. That's actually awesome. That's sweet. Sometimes I'm like, man, some of these videos have a couple views on them, but I don't know if anybody actually gets anything from it, or if like the stuff that's popular just has stupid entertainment value, or if it's actually educational. So that's cool to know that somebody might have taken something positive from it other than just doing shit for the lulz on the internet. Okay, I'm gonna need you for powder. I don't need this Lee lubricant. I'm not a fan at all. It goes on easily, but if you let it sit, then it kind of gets kind of gross and crusty, and then it's a pain to remove and clean off. Let's get rid of that crap. Yeah, move this crap too. Just crap everywhere, sorry. Hey, don't say yourself from me. Well, thanks, that's pretty awesome. I appreciate that. So here we're going to be priming on the bench, and I think I need to... Is that the large? Whoa! Large cup or the small cup? Ooh, I got it right. And we don't have to crank this down, but I don't want it to move. So just a nice little snugging up there. Shell holder on top. Awkward primey arm underneath. And I'm going to use questionable factory pulled primers, and then I'm going to paint them. We're going to do some fingernail polishing on these primers. Should we do red, black, or clear? Let me get the questionable primers really quick. Oh God. Where is it? Sorry. I swear I'm a professional. No, I'm not at all a professional. Alright, yeah, look at these. Some of these, the anvils fell out, but they're just like randomly in the bag. So, those are pulled primers from whatever reason, factory ammo that had to get pulled. So let's see if we can get enough to prime up our brass. After, of course, we check our trim length, because that's important. But like I said, they all just, not all, the 3 I tried, they all chambered, so that's good to know. Alright, don't spill these. What's my trim length here? I think it was 3037. No, the case is 2115. Okay. 2115. And we're actually at 2122. That one's too long. That one's, wow, 10 thousandths shorter. No, 6 thousandths. That one's 2114. So that one's 1 thousandths under. That one's 6 thousandths over. Intriguing. That one's 2 thousandths over. A little bit over. Way over. You know, I only have 10 of these. I could probably do it by hand with that nifty little Lee tool. Yeah, these are all barely over. Seems like this just became a Lee stream. We got Lee dies, Lee ram prime. We're going to do the Lee trimmer, which I have hiding here because I was going to use the 308. So don't get me wrong, these suck for high volume, these Lee case length gauge and shell holder combos. However, I am a big fan of them for small batches, like less than 50 cases. They're great. I don't know what shell holder that is, but I need this one. So for $5, you can collect one for all your cartridges. Oh, we got some link spammers. Likely band evader. I'm gonna block yo ass. We got bots. Boom. Get out of here, clown. Where'd you find those things? What, these things? They're like everywhere, dog. All of your all of your popular reloading retailers. Whoa, did YouTube fall out? Yeah, all of your popular retailers. Mr. James Pollard, welcome aboard. Are you here on the YouTube? Look what we're working on. Only 10 of them right now, but we're doing it. Tell you what. So yeah, this setup, you get the cutter. This comes in one box. You buy one of them and you can use all the other shit. And here is the case length gauge, which is set to bottom out here through your primer pocket. So they have to be decapped and sized, of course, because trimming before sizing would be dumb. And then it comes with a specific shell holder for your cartridges. And that's trash now. I like the 54R. Sir, I'm a fan. We were just talking earlier. I had one, 15 years ago. Ended up trading it off. These threads are screwed up, so it's not going in. Ugh. Where the hell did you find those? Oh, the primers. Sir, this was, these threads are pissing me off. It's not working. Gun show pandemic find. Does this one not go down far enough? They better not have given me a crappy shell holder. Let's try this other beat up one here. Or, oh man, that's annoying. These threads are crappy, so I can't screw this in far enough. That's annoying. Son of a gun. Well, now I got it stuck on there. What a dummy. Son of a nutcrackle. Oh. Okay, well, way to go, Lee. As I was just singing their praise about the die set looking nice. Apparently there's a thread here on my shell holder that's total butt. I don't think I have that number 16 anywhere else in here. Ooh. 4 is for a 223. And I've got several of those because 300 Blackout and 350 Legend. Number 11. Number 19 is for 9mm. Number 1, I think, is 308. Number 2, your 38 specials, I think. And the 3030's got number 3. Dang it, brothers. My case length gauge has foiled me. But we're going to just cheat. We're going to cheat and just see how much we need to take off. I only need to move 5 thousandths out of here, so I can just go and stop once I pass the maximum and call that good. Yeah, look at that. I went too far, actually. Well, 5 thousandths under maximum, so that's really perfect. And then we'll just touch it up. And now that one is ready for priming. Hell yeah. This was the only one that wasn't over max trim length. Cool. That one's like a turn away. We'll just do a couple rotations just to make sure. Yeah, wow. Those like 3 passes I did, it's almost 1,000th per turn, if not a little more. Yeah, might as well just do it. Move that crap out the way. So yeah, the primers, sorry, I got distracted. They came from a gun show at the pop off of the pandemic. Supposedly out of factory ammo. Like, you know how you'll buy pulled brass that's primed? Well, these are pulled primers from pulled brass. So, how about them cookies? Cookies or apples or whatever the hell. Okay, last one here, and then we'll just do a quick chamfer deburr on the case mouth. Boom. And I'm just going to touch the next ones up and not even worry about the length. Yeah, that one's perfect. So James, what jacketed bullet are you going to be loading up for your Mosin? I know last night we just started barely talking about it. And I'm doing these 180 grains. What are you going to be Mosining? Because you said you needed a jacketed load. I think you said yours were 310. Maybe? I'm loading the 311s, Spear Hot Cores. Should be a pretty awesome, maybe like a brush gun sort of thing, like a deer setup. Sorry, you're just staring at my forehead on Twitch. All right, here's we can move him forward a little bit. Maybe we're gonna screw everything up. Whoa. Whoa. I could probably come in from the other side here, but this is fine, right? Can you see what's going on? It's crooked as hell. Sorry. Oh man, I'm gonna have to turn the whole stinking camera around. I'm going for it. We're coming to the other side because we're on a different press. Oh God. Hope I don't unplug it because I've got this like 30-foot. Ooh, what if you had the upside down backwards desk angle? Is that sufficient? You can tell what's happening here. Don't know what bullet, you need a 311. Fair enough, sir, fair enough. All right, yeah, look at that. And now I can even sort of see where the camera is because it's in front of me instead of over and behind my head. That's pretty sweet. And yeah, if I need to edit it and 180 it for the video, I can do that too, no problem. Okay, well now I got some shavings down in the neck. So I kind of want to just hit those real quick with the old paper towel. That's awesome. Hey, if they go bang and you can find the anvils, I say why not? Yeah, they all definitely have the anvils. They're just in the bottom of the bag there. And if not, I have like a zillion anvils from literally any spent primer. So this might be unnecessary, but I'm cleaning the lubricant and any of those metal shavings from the case neck, both from the sizing and trimming operations. And that is to just avoid any powder contamination or kind of interference with seating our bullet, if there's any chunks of brass stuck in there. Or, very super unlikely, but pretend you like trimmed a case that was primed already for some reason and all the brass shavings fell into the case somehow. You've effectively reduced the case capacity of that because it's full of something that isn't powder. Right, right. But yeah, overall I'm fairly satisfied with these primers, although you'll see when I go to install them, they're going to be loose. So we are going to fingernail polish them into place. So should we use red, black, or clear? What's your guys' favorite fingernail polish? The red looks pretty sweet, if you ask me. But, here if you're on the YouTube, these are like $1.30 on Amazon. The Wet n Wild brand. So if you get on Amazon, there's like 30 different colors you can get from this brand here. They're pretty sweet. Yeah, and it's way cheaper than that Markron crap. This bottle's like twice as big, and it's about 10 times as cheap. I think the Markron primer sealer is like $20 or something for 0.25 ounces, I believe. And these are 0.41 ounces, so not quite half, but they cost $1.30 something, like I was saying. Okay, let's try to avoid spilling primers here. That's my goal. Still a cluttered mess over here. Okay. But yeah, for now I'm just using the ones that don't need an anvil. Oh wow. I guess I was just going to say new brass with tight pockets, but this is actually once fired. And that felt very nice, if I do say so myself. But historically, I've used those in like 308 mass produce blasting stuff. So where did my dang shell holder go? Or case holder. Those can now sit upside down and get some paint here in a minute. Okay. We're going to use the red and make them stand out. That works for me. Good enough explanation, sir. And now that I made a big fuss about them being all undersized because they already came out of new brass, these are actually priming way better than I've ever previously experienced. And that Ziploc bag was pretty full. So I've used my fair share of them. But we're going to go ahead and paint them up anyways. That one felt a little bit looser, and I know it's not this brass. They actually, for the most part, I would say, feel very nice. Just sitting it perfectly flush. But it looks just like a brand new Winchester primer. You can see the blue compound. And eventually I'll just get down to the ones that need the anvils and use those. I test loaded a handful of them just to see if they work, because I've never had to re-anvil a primer before, but they all work just fine. I did a batch of like 50 or so just to see if they would work. That's quite a large test batch just to see if something goes bang, but you get the point. It ended up into some good old dude bro mag dumping. Okay, one more, and then they'll go back into the bag of secondhand primies. Oh yeah. Yeah, those they're perfectly flush, and they actually did not feel loose one bit. So the paint here in a minute is going to be totally redundant, extraneous, unneeded, but it's going to look cool. At least they will look cool. Oh yeah, well here's the rest of the pulled primers. Yeah, there we are. It's in this crappy little plastic mason jar, but I think those might be Federals or CCIs, but I think I got some Remingtons over there. I have no idea how many there are, because it's impossible to count loose primers visually. Okay, we're done priming. We'll get rid of this tool, and then we'll paint. And then we'll paint. Holy crap, it's almost 2 a.m., fellers. Not like I have to rush out of here. Just time flies when you're having fun. Alright. Put him up. Get rid of the ram primer. Put the shell holder back into here. We're done with the crappy case length gauge trimmer setup because the threads are screwed. Okay. And where did that? Okay, that's over there. Done priming. Now we need to seat our bullets eventually. And I think this is their dead stop seating die. I'm just going to see here. I think it'll touch the shell holder before a crimp would otherwise engage. Yep, there we go. You're supposed to give it a little cam over. And then we'll back our seating stem way, way, way out. And what this does is make sure that your die body is consistently contacting the shell holder, and the only variation is going to come from your bullets, because when this cams over, it essentially turns everything into one piece, and the only variation will be on the tip of your bullet sitting in your seating stem. But we got to paint these really quick. Done with that. In there. Done with the priming tray too. Okay. We can finally move this book over. Can't wait to have a proper workshop again. And I reckon I'll show you guys on YouTube. We'll paint here on YouTube. So once again, the Wet n Wild fingernail polish on Amazon is about $1.30 something. There's several, like probably 20 plus, almost 30 colors to pick from. And we're going with red. Focus, and then you just want to get a dot on there and cover that primer. Apparently there's motion in the backyard. That means that there's a spider on the camera. And you want to be pretty liberal there and let it spread out. It'll seep into that crack around the primer. And then when it dries, it actually just comes out flat. And no problems at all. So I like to go on pretty heavy. Let's see if I can do this from the camera. Big old blob there, and then let it seep into the crevice. And then if it looks thick, don't worry, it'll dry out perfectly flat. Yeah. And then, so yeah, you can do this with red, black, clear. There's green and orange and yellow and, you know, pink and purple if you're into that. But you can use it for load development or load identification, rather. You know, red means hot. Those are my plus P loads, right? Or the green sealant are my hunting rounds. So on and so forth. Probably still got enough on the brush there. I would rather be a little thick with it. I say thick, but it still dries out completely flat. I would rather go on heavy than have it thin out and not completely seal that little crevice. Just a big dot right on the center and then spread it around. And if you need to seal these from moisture, or like I'm doing, keeping in primers that are supposedly undersized or under diameter, they'll work perfectly for that too. I have enough on there to finish that one. But this one's, I'll show you how thin it is, and that it probably won't seep all the way into that crack. All right, we got enough on there, but you can see how that one, maybe you can see, it's a little thinner than the other big dollops I was doing. So that sometimes we'll seep in around the primer, but not do a full 360 seal, if that makes sense. And it's not like the prettiest thing ever, but I really don't care about that. I am a function over fashion kind of guy. So yeah, there's red, but I've got black or clear to use. And those will probably take a minute to dry. No big deal. Let's review our powder. What kind of powder are we doing? Make sure our dye's set. Got the dye set. Let me go ahead and get some bullets out here. We'll set them next door to our... Ooh. Let's actually compare some of our projectiles here. 179.7. 179.8. Oop, jump down to 7 there. 179, that one's light. I'm gonna segregate him. 179.8, that falls in perfectly. Oopsie. 179.6, that's our lowest one so far, but it's definitely not an entire grain short like that other one. 179.2, another light one. 179.9, we'll take it. 179.5, we'll take it. Yeah, so far the ones I'm keeping are all within 4/10 of a grain, which is pretty consistent, I would say. There's a 0.4, I'm going to throw it out. And this 179, still a little light. 179.6, keeper. 179.6, all right, one more. Oh yeah, 179.8. And I generally don't ever sort bullets, but I was just doing this while we were waiting for that nail polish to dry. Let's check some diameters. And I really hate these calipers, but it looks like, aside from the calipers being about a half thou off, if I get it just perfect, it's 311. Shit, I just threw that one back into the box. Haha. Well, gotta find one more then. 178.9. Man, that one's short. 179.2. My bad. 179.8. Okay. Is that dry yet? Probably dry enough to use it over the shell holder. But you can see now that it has settled down into the primer pocket and sealed in that gap. That's nice. Let me show you guys over here. Yeah, hopefully you can see the actual primer pocket, primer ring junction kind of thing there. as it dries and seeps into it. Right. Alright, I gotta kind of move you over a little bit, YouTube. Alright. The tubes, gotta move you over. And I don't want to like totally reach across the bench while I'm trying to do this, but yeah. So if I'm just like trickling or using the scooper or whatever, I'll just pour some into an empty powder bottle I cut in half. So, you know, it held powder once before. It's probably pretty good at holding powder now. And we've got N160, which is a stick powder. And those are some very heavy, thick, chunky sticks. N160 is actually very slow burning. Yeah, big thick guys. I got a sneeze coming on. Woo, buddy. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Woo. Anyways, big, thick, chunk and heavy sticks here. And I'm going to keep referencing my data so we don't dummy something up. 180 grain interlock, which is very similar to this. VIT N160 maxes at 53.9, starts at 44.9. So that's a whole 9 grain swing. We're going to go right in the middle at 50 grains. And I'm going to see what one scoop of this guy does. That's not even a full scoop. Can we get a 50? Do we need a 50? Alright. These big old sticks are pretty easy to trickle up to. And if I'm within a couple tenths, I'm just going to be okay with it. Alright. Sometimes you gotta tap it to wake them up. $49.9, oh, 50, yep, see it went over. 50.1, I'll take it. So let's just double check that it's pretty dry looking. Yeah, we'll take it. So I'm gonna pour the powder and then I'll start seating that bullet immediately because I don't have a freaking case holder block, case block, that's the word, that can hold the rim on these. So I need to get one of those apparently. Big old thick powder. Yeah, that's a nice case fill. Dang it. Depending on how far that goes in there, we might be compressing on it. Yeah, you can see it right up there. Not quite to the bottom of the case mouth, but somewhere near the shoulder. And we got a bullet. Wow. Just be very careful bringing him on up there. And we seated them way far out so we can work down on our seating depth. Alright, and yeah, that seems to be staying now. That's dried, but look how long we are. We need to get to a maximum of, let me just measure one of these factory rounds actually. That should give us a good starting point, right? Maybe? Come on! Except these have a spot for a cannular, where mine did not. 2.855. 2855. Hornady says 2790. But I'm using a spear bullet, so 2855 sounds better. That's longer, so that would be less pressure potentially and closer to the rifling, which would be less of a jump. So in my mind, that sounds good. And we are super long here at 2.997 actually. And there's not a lot of that bullet in the case so far. Look at that. You can kind of see where it's bulged on the brass. He needs seated into about there. Sure is hard doing this thing backwards. So you can see a slight bulge where the case is started, where the bullet had started to seat. And then we're only in that far so far. So we'll come down quite significantly. Wow. So what are we going for? 2855, I think I said. Well, there's 2955. Nice. 293. Yeah, nice. Whatever seating stem is in here is lining up pretty much perfectly. Let me see if I can get really close to 2.9 and just see if it chambers. Because if the maximum is 3.037, all right, I went a little far on that. I'll back out a hair. And this is the official plunk test. I might still crimp it. Probably will crimp it. There we go. Yep. Whee! Oh, yeah. Cool. Yep, we'll just have to put a light crimp on that just because, you know, crappy World War II bolt action. And, well, if I don't get it stuck right here. Come on. I want you to fall down in there. Okay, there, yeah. Potentially could have an issue trying to feed there. So, oh man, I wasn't even on the camera. I apologize. Yeah, I was testing this. Here we go. It feeds. All right. And it closes easily enough. If I was actually running it, that would work just fine. Sweet. So, gotta move that, and we'll work that direction. Good deal. I'm just gonna do this little scooping thing a bunch of times now. Hey, that's the same measurement as the last one. So, Mr. Crash, when was the last time you shot your Mosin that has the great story to tell? Powder. Oh, shoot. Don't run it up into like that. Oh, that was nice and smooth. You could feel the die centering it up. And do we have 2.9? Heck yeah. Close enough, right? Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Drop some. Oh yeah. See, this scooper is not as slow as some people make it seem. But it's really frustrating with ball powders, because most scales take like a certain amount of change to actually start registering again. And so if you're just dumping a little waterfall of ball powders, that often is not enough to trigger it to notice and take a new reading. But if you're dumping these big chonky sticks in here, it's much easier to actually trigger the scale to start reading. Sometimes I'll bump the pan like that. And minus a tenth, we'll call that good. Yeah. This is actually loading up very smoothly. Most excellent. So yeah, James, I went with the 180 grain just because that was the factory ammo I had on hand. But I believe Spear also makes a 150 of the same kind of profile, kind of the round nose, hot core style. 150 grains, you can get those moving a lot faster. You've got PPU, there's some hot loads. Those SMBs did not seem that heavy. I didn't have the chrono out, but if Hornady's saying we should be hitting 2600 with a full-length barrel, I really don't know how close I was to that with something that's 10 inches shorter. But I'm going to be shooting the 312-155 more than any of it, I'm sure. The cast loads, and probably just a nice little charge of Unique or Red Dot or any of those really. I would like to try out some PPU ammo because I have factory new PPU brass. I hear that's good stuff. I might have heard it from you, but I've never really heard anything really bad about it. Maybe I didn't get enough powder out. Oh. Perfect. I'm getting on a roll here with this dipper right here, folks. We're just dipping powder like no other. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, we're not completely compressed. You can hear that shaking. Mine are 150 grain. That feels like a 300 mag. Dude, that's excessive. I shot some 300 Win Mag at 300 yards one time. It was excessive, to say the least. I think those were 220 grain loads or something. But shoot, how fast is a 300 Win Mag shooting at 150? Is that going like 3,200 or something silly? Excuse me. Little hiccup. I feel like a 300 Win Mag shooting 150s. That's just ridiculous. But I bet those were pretty stout if that's what that feels like. But also, my Mosin has a metal butt plate. So that could be part of it if yours also has the standard metal butt plate thing. That doesn't help you at all. Pardon me. The metal butt plate doesn't help you at all with recoil. Not one bit. Cool, we're down to our very last one. If you remember right there, we're going 2,900 out of your Mosin. Dang, that's smoking hot. Because I know, I pushed some 150s up to 3,000 in my 308. And I was like, man, he's got to be doing something crazy. And I shot like crap, but I didn't see any pressure signs really. There wasn't a stiff bolt lift or anything like that, but they certainly shot like crap. So I much prefer accuracy over speed. Okay, last one. Oh, whatever. Took out one kernel. Took out one and we're up by 0.2 now. Perfect. Yeah, 2,900 on a 150 grain. That's pretty smoking hot there, sir. 300 Win Mags definitely got to make them go. Got to be sending them at 3,200 or something, right? Oh no, I got big glob of fingernail polish on my board. That's why the big globs need time to dry, I guess. Oh well, last one. Last one here. Then we'll just do a light crimp. Let's do a light crimp. Yeah, I'll just smudge that all around there. That's how some of them look from the factory anyways. It's just caked on like they ran it over a paint roller or something. Alright, I'm sure that's not the last time that will happen. So, pull out the cedar, and then we'll grab the factory crimp die. But, I'm going to grab some water. Real quick like. Nom nom nom. Sorry, I was a little parched there. Okay, factory crimp die. I'm not doing anything excessive on this. It's not an auto loader. It's not doing anything crazy. But I just want to give it a little bit of a squeeze. Yeah. Alright, that's like a third of a turn. And I would say that that is sufficiently crimped. Whoa. Yeah, anyways, not a whole lot of crimp there, which is good for me. I do need to lock this lock ring though with the disliked lock ring. Yeah, that's perfect there. Just a little squeeze. That's just beautiful. Should maybe perhaps let it sit for a second, I hear, due to springback. So you actually want to hold, and this will help the brass stay there rather than just doing a quick bleh, and it kind of springs back by some non-zero number. So, people on the internet say let it sit for a second. Notice I'm not doing the double dip either. Dip and turn and then recrimp. Whoa. I mean, that in my mind was probably doing the same thing as is when you just hold it for a second to prevent springback. But if you do this and then turn about a third of the way or a quarter of the way, It does a very fine crimping job. Last one. Heck yeah. They're beautiful, except for this stain I put on my block. But yeah, you can see those dried up pretty well, except for that one that I screwed up on purpose. So these should be moving approximately 2,300 out of someone's Mosin, not mine probably, but there we are. Cool, good deal. So potentially, range day tomorrow. You'll have to be on Twitch though, because I'll only have my phone and you can't show a firearm on YouTube. So potentially midday sometime around noon or mid-afternoon, we might be doing a range day from Twitch. So stay tuned for that. Probably be doing a bunch of 300 blackout, couple mag dumps with the 110 VMax, and just some plinking around with the new 7.5 inch build. And cool. I think that's going to wrap it up. I got to put my powder away. We'll download this and chop it up into a few videos for YouTube. So that'll be cool. Especially this Mosin. I haven't done any of that on the channel yet. So maybe that'll be kind of cool. Some people can bring in their ideas on where we should go with it or what kind of cast loads to do. I do have the 311 185 Lee mold. Or maybe it's 312 185. I want to try that. That should be a good one as well. You know, I could probably get that right up to 2,000 feet per second. And probably find a pretty good load there. So that should be fun. But anyways, thanks for hanging out on a late Saturday night, Sunday morning. It's 2 in the morning here. So thanks again, guys. We will see you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one.